Hello everyone, welcome to business management classes. This is Dr. Niranjan Babu HS, working as an assistant professor at Maharani's Commerce and Management College for Women Mysore. We have been discussing over the subject business management, which is prescribed for first BCom first semester for the University of Mysore. In this session, particularly, we will be discussing on an interesting topic, the functions of management. Now we shall move on to the discussion. Functions of management. When we say these functions of management, there are about four basic important management functions are there. They are the functions to be performed by every manager in every business organization. The four basic functions of management are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Once again, I will repeat. The four basic functions of management are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. These functions, they work together in creation, execution, and realization of the organizational goals. I said in the earlier sessions that the higher level or the top level management that will decide the corporate objectives or the organizational objectives. That once the corporate objectives are set, they need to be achieved, or they need to be goals are need to be reached. How to achieve the goals is a big question. So for which the managers, they must do some functions, some basic functions. They are these: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. If they can perform these functions, easily they can reach any organization's goal for that matter, whether it's a business context or it's a social organizations or education institutions or a military, government, or any type of social institutions for that matter. All the objectives set by the management can be reached easily. Now, in this session, we shall start our discussion with the first basic function, that is planning. This slide, planning, organizing, controlling, and directing. Directing is nothing but leading and control. And leading and directing, they are the one and the same meaning. So these are functions of management. Now, we shall focus on the discussion now. To be successful, in order to get the success in the business, the management needs to follow the four functions of management in a proper order. There is a set order. That means you cannot take up controlling first and thereafter you can't do the planning work. You should go in a sequential order. That sequential order is planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. This is the order. All the managers in every institution, in every organization, in every country for that matter, wherever there is a human activity, this order is need to be followed. First, you should plan yourself. That is why here it says, managers first need to develop a plan. Being a manager, you develop a plan for your department. How the work is to be executed. Say if it is a production, you develop a production plan. What need to be produced, how it is to be produced, what are the tools required, machineries required, materials required, men required, how much time required, what is the method, what is the technology that is being used. So first you develop a plan, then organize the resources and delegate the responsibilities to the employees according to the plan. What do you mean by organization? I told in the last session that establishment of organization is the creation of levels of management and also identification of the various positions in a company and also filling those positions, and to see that each and every position will have the fixed roles and responsibilities which need to be performed, and the resources will be assigned to them, and also delegation of responsibilities and power to all the employees according to the plans being made. So this is organizing. After that, you need to lead others. People have the tendency in an organization, unless otherwise being told by the manager, they will not do anything on their own. So being a manager, it's your responsibility to tell each and everyone that what need to be done. So you need to lead others to efficiently carry out the plan and to execute the plan. Finally, you evaluate the plan's effectiveness, whether their plans have been implemented in the same manner or not, that you need to check being a manager. So evaluation is controlling activity. So planning and controlling, they goes together. The plan's effectiveness as it is being executed and make any necessary adjustments. If at all, if there is a deviations, you need to take up the corrective measures. Now, we shall start with the first basic management function, planning. What do you mean by planning? Planning is a beautiful management function, the first foremost management function. It is the answer finding process for several series of questions like what to do, when to do, why to do, whom to do, how to do. These are all some of the basic questions a manager need to answer in the planning process, because being the manager in any company, being representing the management, you need to plan for your organization, what need to be done, how it is to be done, with whom, for whom you are making, how it will be making, where it have to do, why you have to do. For this series of questions, a manager need to have the answer. So thereby, when you say planning is it's a process of finding the answers for these series of questions. So now, what the meaning of the definitions goes? In the planning stage, the managers, they tries to establish the organizational goals and create a course of action to achieve them. During the planning phase, the management makes the strategic decisions to set the directions for the organization. While planning, the managers usually evaluate the internal and external factors that may affect the execution of the plan, such as economic growth, customers, competitors. They also establishes a realistic timeline for achieving the goal or goals based on the organization's available finances and the personnel and also the resources. When you say this planning, I told in a simpler terms, planning is thinking in advance. Thinking prior that you do anything, you make a proper plan. You decide in advance what is to be done, how it is to be done, why it is to be done. So thereby, so planning is bridging the gap in between the present and the future. Where we are right now, where we are supposed to go, and how to make a journey, what are the things which is required. So thereby, planning is the bridging the gap between the present and the future. It is to foresee the things in the right perspective. To foresee means to probe into the future. What happens after 5 years? What happens after 10 years? What will be the status of the technological changes that do come across? So thereby, planning is probing into the future, to foresee. Planning is the primary function of any management activity. This is the first thing. First you should do manage, then only you should go for the second, that is organizing. After that only you should go for directing and controlling. So this is the primary activity. It begins with, all planning process begins with the determination of the objectives of the organization. First you must decide what is the broader corporate objectives are. Once that is decided, so that is the first step of establishing the planning process. It is deciding the future course of action. What everybody, every department, every person in the organization has to do, that will be decided in the planning process. Planning is all pervasive in nature. Planning is pervasive in nature. It is an essential at all levels of management. You need to plan at the top level management. You need to plan at the execution, that is at the middle level management. You need to plan at the lower level management. So at each stage, every manager, every classification of manager, they have to do this planning process. When we say planning, this includes objectives, framing of strategies, framing of policies, procedures, programs. The planning involves basically foreseeing and decision making. You decide, others will follow, because you are heading the department or heading the organization. So thereby, it is the top level management or the departmental managers' work is to see that they must undertake this planning work. Then now, we are having this organizing. What is organizing? The purpose of organizing is to distribute the resources and delegate the tasks to the personnel to achieve the goals and established in the planning stage. I told this again and again, that the purpose of organizing is to distribute the resources. Availability of resources are really been limited to any organization. So you need to distribute. You need to distribute all the resources equally among, based upon the priorities. You need to distribute the resources to the various departments. And also At the same time, you must delegate the task to each and every individual in the organization. You must assign the work to every position, to every person in the organization, so that you can achieve the goals established in the planning stage. What you have decided at the planning stage, that can be achieved only when you do these things. And continuing the discussion, managers may need to work with the other departments of the organization, such as finance, HR, and to organize the budget and staffing. It is not that isolated, you cannot take the decision. Say, if you are a production manager, if you decide to produce 1 lakh units per month, or if you want to increase the production, you must immediately consult with so many other managers. Like you have to consult with the finance manager, because unless if the finance is not provided to the manager, production manager, what he will do? He cannot buy the raw material, or he cannot possess, or he cannot acquire the required technology, or he cannot buy the required machineries or the tools. So thereby he has to communicate to the finance manager, he has to communicate to the purchase manager, he has to talk with the R&D manager. So that is why when the managers, they may need to work with the other departments of the organization, such as finance, HR, to organize budget and staffing. And during the organizing stage, the managers, they strive to create a work environment conducive to the productivity. So establishment of organization in such a way that the people must be in a position to perform their activities or discharge their duties in a efficient and effective manner. That is what this organizing is. So this organized effort, it is as old as the history of mankind. The group effort, it has to be harnessed and organized for the success of any activity. It involves the division of activity. You divide the work like production, marketing, finance, like that. So division of activities, assigning the duties specifically to each and every one. Then delegating authority, because to perform any work, you also need to give the authority also. So you delegate the authority, then you fix the responsibilities. Whatever the responsibilities are, you fix up the responsibilities. Then larger the organization, more complex is to organize it, because the people will be more, tasks will be more, the strategies will be much complex. So thereby, if the organizations are big, so you need to organize it with more complexities. Then it also includes blending together the different resources like men, machine, material, money and market. 5 M's. So 5 M's need to be blended properly. Then this organization process, it is also inclusive of departmentization and decentralization. Departmentization, meaningful creation of the department like production, marketing, HR, like that. Then decentralization. Decentralization is everything, you don't put everything on your head. You decentralize. You assign to your subordinates. You delegate them. You delegate the power as well as the authorities, so that they will discharge, that they will perform there, or they will see that the work will be executed in a right manner. So thereby it also inclusive of departmentalization and decentralization, and delegations are essential subfunctions of the organization. So thereby organization, it determines what is the authority, who is having the power, to whom you are supposed to contact for any work in the organization. Then it also determines the authority and the responsibility relationship. So thereby organization provides a mechanism for the management to execute the plans. So continuing the discussion of organizing. When assigning the team members roles, managers should explain and ensure the employees are understanding their individual duties. Each and every person must understand clearly what is their role, why they are being doing, what they have been assigned, how it is to be done, to what extent they are being accountable, to whom they are supposed to report the end results, what are the standards which are being set, and what is the measurement of standards, how the work will be evaluated. Everything you need to communicate with your employees. To help the employees to feel engaged and productive, managers should ensure that the employees are assigned an appropriate amount of work and an appropriate amount of time to complete their work. So when you assign some work, you should give the scientific allocation of time must also be there. So assign the work, you assist your subordinates, and you see that within the time frame that work will be completed. So this is what organizing is. Now the important one, third important management function, that is leading. It is also called as directing. Leading consisting of motivating the employees and influencing their behavior to achieve the organizational objectives. Leading focuses on managing the people such as individual employees, teams and groups rather than the tasks. I've been telling that leading is directing. The people have the tendency in any organization, unless otherwise being told by the managers, they will not do anything. So thereby it's your responsibility or it's your duty to give the quality directions to the staff. So and also you must motivate the employees. Why motivation? Motivation is inducing. You inspire the employees so that they will achieve the organizational objectives in a easy manner within the prescribed time. So you motivate the employees, you influence their behavior. How to influence the behavior? You consider the requirements of the employees. What are the requirements of the employees? What are their expectations? Whether they are given with the proper wages or salaries or not. So once these things are considered, you can able to influence their behavior in order to achieve the organizational objectives. Then, though the managers may direct the team members by giving the orders and directing to their team, managers who are successful leaders usually connect with their employees by using the interpersonal skills to encourage, to inspire, to motivate the team members to perform to the best of their abilities. So, being a manager, you are working with the subordinates. Who are subordinates? They are human beings. You are also a human being, manager is also a human being, team members are also human beings, staff, workers, top level management, higher level management, lower level, all are basically human beings only. So to be a good manager, you need to be a good, you must know the good human skills also. You must know how to manage the good human skills. You must know how to, you must have the ability to work with the people. Leadership is ability to work with the people, ability to mix up with the people, ability to influence the people, ability to motivate the people. So you must encourage them, you must inspire them, you must motivate your team members each time so that they will discharge their duties in a easy and effective and efficient manner. Then last aspect, the controlling. What do you mean by this? Controlling is the planning and controlling, they goes together. That's why Henry Fayard, he says, controlling consisting of, when you say controlling, it consisting of the verifying whether everything is occurs in conformity with the plans adopted, the instructions issued and the principles established. So it's very clear. In the planning process, you will be deciding everything, what to do, how to do, when to do, where to do, why to do, whom to do, you have all the answers for the series of questions. So controlling is to see that everything goes as per the plan. Controlling is the process of evaluating the execution of the plan and also making the adjustment to ensure that the organizational goal is achieved. If at all, if there are any obstacles, any hurdles on your way to perform your duties or by any staff, so immediately the manager must assist, he must regulate, he must take corrective measures to see that everything must go as per the plans. So that is what is controlling is. So during the controlling stage, the managers perform the tasks such as training the employees as necessary and managing the deadlines. When you are saying that proper work is to be done, you must also make them to learn how a work is to be done through the proper training. So you give the proper training to the staff and also you manage the deadlines within the time framework. You will be assigning the work as well as the time framework for everyone. So within the time schedule, all the work must be completed. Then managers monitor the employees and evaluate the quality of their work. They can conduct the performance appraisals and they give the employees feedback, providing the positive remarks on what they have been doing well and suggestions for improvement. They may also offer pay or rise incentives to the high performing employees. Being a manager, it's your duty. You must observe, you must identify who are efficient employees. If one is really been efficient, he must be given the proper encouragement. It is through monetary as well as non-monetary, by extending the non-monetary benefits. So you must identify them. How to identify the people, the quality of work, or how to identify the efficient people? It is through the performance appraisals. Once it is been done, so you must give the feedback to the employees. What are the positive things relating to a person and what are the negative things? How we can able to rectify it and how we can modify his behavior or how we can adjust to the organizational setup. So that feedback is to be given to them, and you should, and as far as possible, such feedback must be given in a positive way. So, and you must also suggest what are the different ways of improvement. If he is really good, you must appreciate also. So thereby, you may also have to offer hike in the incentives for the high performing employees that motivates them to work better. So this is relating to controlling. These are all the reference things which are made for preparing this PPT. So my dear students, in this session we have discussed what is planning, organizing, and what is controlling and what is directing. So this is the fourth session in the business management subject. We have discussed the functions of management. In the next class and the next session we shall make a discussion over a new topic in the business management subject. Till then, bye. This is Dr. Niranjan Babu. Thank you, Anurag.